So in the previous class what we did, we discussed the detailed syllabus of CC14 linguistics, and as we discussed earlier that in the following classes, as we decided that in the following classes we will deal with each of the units which is prescribed in your syllabus. So today we will deal with unit 1, which is descriptive linguistics, and within this unit we are today going to discuss subtopic B, which is morphology of English. We are going to discuss morphology of English. Morphos means form or structure, and logos means to study. So what we are going to study? We are going to study form or structure of English words. So we will begin our study. We will begin our study of human language. We will begin our study of human language by examining what a word is. So in the initial stages of our learning in childhood, what we do, we used to speak single words like no more mommy, right? No more right, as you can see. So in this fashion, as you can see, in this fashion in our childhood we used to speak single words like no more mommy. Become native speakers, we learn many more words, right? So the total list of words for any language is referred to as lexicon, right? So what is a lexicon? The total list of words for any language is referred to as its lexicon. So in order to become native speakers, we must know and we acquire a whole lot of vocabulary words. So what do we exactly know when we know a word? This is very important to understand, right? So this I have written down here. The question is, what do we know when we know a word, right? And a probable explanation for this question is that information encoded, several informations are associated with any word, and which remains encoded, in each and every word. There is some information which remains encoded, right? And in order to understand a language completely, the process of language comprehension, the process of language comprehension tells us about this encoding and decoding of this information associated with the word. So what do we know when we know a word, right? Information encoded in a word is fairly complex and is associated with different kinds of information. As you can note it down from here, that information encoded in a word is fairly complex, right? So any information which is encoded in any given word is fairly complex, and it remains associated with different kinds of information. And what are those information? What are those kinds of information? We will gradually learn in a while. So we are trying to understand that what we actually know when we know a word, right? So this is our question. What do we know when we know a word? And as I told you earlier, that a word is primarily a coded information. A word or any word is primarily a coded information, right? And what kinds of information does any word or a word has, right? What kinds of information? So primarily, as you can see from this diagram or chart, that primarily these informations are of five types, right? 5 kind of information can be there. The first one, right? Any word has encoded information, and that information can be of 5 types, right? The first one is phonological information. The second one is morphological information. The third one is syntactic information. Fourth one is semantic information, and the fifth one is pragmatic information. So I'll tell you about all these one by one, but first of all, you just try to understand that what a word is, right? So a word is primarily a coded information. A word is primarily a coded information, and what kind of information or informations it have. It may have some phonological information, it may have morphological information, it may have syntactic information, it may have semantic or pragmatic information. So these are the 5 types of information which any word may have or can have. So as I told you earlier that word or words are primarily coded information or informations, right? Word or words are coded information or informations, right? And what types of information, what kinds of information it can have? It can have primarily 5 different types of information. The first one is phonological information, second one is morphological information, third one is syntactic information, the fourth one is semantic information, and the fifth one is pragmatic information. So these 5 different kinds of information can be encoded within a word, right? So what is a phonological information, right? What is a phonological information? As we know, as we understand that with each and every word there is a pronunciation which is associated with it. With each and every word there is a specific pronunciation which is associated with it, right? So the structure and systematic patterning of sounds, right? This kind of information remains encoded in a word. There can be or there may be, the presence of the structure or systematic patterning of sounds, right, which will provide us with the phonological information. Moving ahead, the second one is morphological information, right? What does this tells us about? This tells us about the internal structure of words and their relationship. Internal structure of words and their relationship. So this is about morphological information, right? In morphological information, what do we learn? We learn about the internal structure of words and their relationship, right? Moving ahead, the third one is syntactic information. What is syntactic information? This information, this type of information enables us or the native speaker in understanding the overall uses of word or words in a sentence, right? So what does the syntactic information do? Syntactic information enables us in understanding how to use words, right? Overall usage of words in a sentence, right? So this is syntactic information. The fourth one is semantic information, right? The fourth one is semantic information. And what does this mean? This means that meaning of this kind of or this type of information enables us in gathering, right, the meaning of individual words and meaning of words grouped to form phrase or sentence, right? So what this kind of information do, semantic information do? It enables us, right, in gathering information or understanding the meaning of individual words and meaning of words grouped to form either phrase or a sentence, right? And the fifth and the last one is pragmatic information, right? What kind of information is this? Pragmatic information is a kind of information